What's going on, guys? This is Miasin and welcome to my deck profile on Poor Metal Foes budget for poor people who can't afford food. So basically, this deck is going to be the deck that I will personally be using in order to grind in the normal and rare festival, which if you're watching this video Wednesday, will be today, or if you're watching this literally at the moment I'm uploading it tomorrow. So before this video starts, make sure, of course, you like and subscribe. Check me out on Twitch and Instagram, and now let's jump right into it. So as you can see, I'm playing 56 cards in my deck, and it almost looks like there is no structure to this deck, but there is a lot. And as hilarious as this may sound, I actually use the deck extremely similar to this to top a YCS. Now, again, you might be thinking, what the frick, are you kidding me? How can you top a YCS with a deck like this? Of course, you have to subtract the Fire Hand, Ice Hand, Drayeth, and actually, as a matter of fact, even Majesty Ignis. I played Masterpiece as my only True Draco monster. I also played Draconic Diagram, and I did not play True Draco Apocalypse. I only played one return. I did not play Metal Foes Counter, only played 2 combination, etc. I played 6 copies of Diagram. That was back in the days when terraforming was a 3. Oh my god, the good old days, huh? Yeah, the good old days. But now basically we have to play and try to win with what we have, at our disposal, and we're not allowed to use super rare and ultra rare. These cards are banned from the event. So the reason why Metal Foes is the best deck in the normal and rare festival is because you get to get your engine started very easily. Basically, just a Metal Foes with any card means that you will eventually play the game, keep on snowballing resources at the speed of light. Whereas if your opponent is playing a super reactive deck, there is a world in which your opponent just doesn't really do anything at all, and because of that, you're going to be the most proactive deck and you're going to kill your opponent. So Metal Foes combination is ridiculously busted in a very slow format, and that's the reason why it is being played at 3 right now. Archphoenix Centric is unfortunately banned. I did consider playing cards like Mythical Beast Garuda with the Magispectre engine, but the reason why I actually stopped playing them is because I just realized that the True Draco monsters were infinitely better, and there was no reason to commit the Magispectre monsters with all the bricks, like the Tornado. What happens when you draw Tornado with Cyclone but no Wind Spellcaster monsters? They would definitely brick, since your Metal Foes monsters do not fit that kind of requirement activation for these trap cards. So I'm literally playing 3 of every single Metal Foes monster that can be played in this festival. So I think I'm only missing 1 monster, which is the level 9. It would have been really good in this format, but whatever. So 3 Steelin, 3 Silver, 3 Gold Driver, 3 Volflame, 3 Bismugear, and 3 Malcaster. I can't believe we actually get to play with this card because it is literally overpowered right now. When it dies, you get to recycle back a Metal Foes Pendulum monster from your extra deck. You can't use the effect of the card for the rest of the turn, but it really is completely irrelevant. And with this amount of Metal Foes monsters, your deck is super consistent because, again, you don't need 10 billion Metal Foes monsters to pop off. This deck is almost like a control deck that snowballs and eventually kills your opponent, rather than like an OTK deck or a deck that goes first and make negates. As a matter of fact, this deck is actually a going second deck in the festival, and anyone who is very, very smart would understand that this festival is the kind of tournament where you really, really have to go second and not first. The reason for that is because drawing your 6th card is one of the most important things ever, but on top of that, like I said, people cannot really make negates, because even if you make a Metal Foes player go first, look at the extra deck. How are you really interrupting your opponent? It's really difficult. Like, the only way would be to make Orichalc and then quick fuse on freaking Mithrilium on your opponent's turn to pop a card, but that is so much commitment just to pop 1 single monster, and your opponent has 6 cards, whereas you had to use, all your 5 cards to do that. So chances are, if you're only committing to 1 interruption, your opponent will be able to play through it, whereas you're not going to have any recovery post turn 1. So that's the reason why going second is so much better. And there are a lot of going second cards that just inherently break boards like there's no tomorrow. So I'm playing Fire and Ice Hand, even though they have absolutely zero synergy whatsoever in the deck. I'm just playing them because they're good cards. And this really reminds me of, back in the days when we had gold format and stuff like that. You weren't trying to play like archetypes in your deck, right? Well, I mean, you could splash in, Gravekeeper sometimes in your deck and really almost call it a Gravekeeper deck. But this is completely different because we're playing just a bunch of very, very small engines that are just good cards and, sometimes can work in tandem with each other. And we're calling it a deck. I'm playing 56 cards because I don't want to draw my bad cards very often. And any bad card in the deck is a card that is a one-of. So Parametal Force Fusion and Full Metal Force Fusion. These cards are absolute dog shit. I only play them at 1 each, and that's the reason why, you know, I'm trying to not see them. Whereas every single other card in this deck, no exception, is a 3-of. They all do something very important. So, of course, Fire and Ice Hand, obvious why they're really good. They break boards, they're really annoying cards, and they can't really get negated either unless your opponent is playing like Trimade and has like one of the weird field spells that's like an Armades, but it's not the end of the world. Majesty can search a True Draco monster. Ignis can search a True Draco spell. A little better, I want to say. Now, Drayth usually in Yu-Gi-Oh! Is absolute dog shit, but in this format, it's not too bad because when it leaves the field, you get to special summon a True Draco or True King monster in defense. So it still floats into something. So if your opponent wants to out this, it's going to be very hard because it's when it leaves the field, not necessarily like when it's sent to the graveyard. So this card is extremely frustrating to deal with. Of course, Summoner's Art, so you have more copies of your Metal Force Volflame, the bad card Parametal Force Fusion, Triple Heritage, and Triple Disciples. Alright, so it's like 6 minutes into the video, and I'm just getting to explain the synergy between the True Dracos and the Metal Foes. Basically, when you get to go like scale, and then scale, set something, whatever, pop, and then you get to send your Metal Foes combination, that's already a continuous trap that you can tribute summon for one of your True Draco monsters, and then get the search off of the combination. So that's already very good, because you're getting a True Draco monster on the field, which continuously generates you advantage every single time your opponent uses a card effect. On top of that, you're able to get your Metal Foes search very, very fast, without even having to wait until next turn where you flip your Metal Foes combination and then you destroy it. So this allows you to get your stuff going even faster. Very, very important. On top of that, you get to destroy your spells so that you get to set your combination and destroy it in a separate chain link. So a very cool play that you can do, and you can draw cards, of course. Get back your resources, so this deck cannot deck out if your opponent is trying to play like a cheese deck with indestructible monsters. It will never work against this deck. You literally cannot deck out. It's actually very consistent. I mean, playing 56 doesn't make the deck any more bricky, because again, you're not trying to see like one super specific card every single time. And that's the reason why every single card is a 3-of. Full Metal Force Fusion, Triple Counter, and Triple Combination. Now, Counter is usually very, very bad, but again, in this format, it's broken. If a card you control is destroyed by battle by card effect, including like your Pendulum Scales, which is ridiculous, special summon a Metal Foes directly from your deck, and it's now once per turn, and during either player's turn except the turn it was sent to the grave, you can banish it and recycle back a Metal Foes scale from your extra deck to your hand. So, well, a face-up extra deck to the hand. So that's the way that you can basically OTK your opponent. And then, of course, the Recombination, the best card. And you can actually use its real effect to, like, revive back a monster instead of just using it as a way to pop and send it to the graveyard. So, yeah, it's a nice little monster reborn when you fuse, which definitely can come in handy. And finally, we have three copies of True King's Return and 3 copies of True Draco Apocalypse. So Apocalypse is probably a little less good than Return, because Return can allow you to consistently loop your monsters, always revive them back, which gives you also food for, you know, rank 5 and rank 6 Xyz monsters. I don't think I'm playing any rank 6 because Drayth is my only level 5, but I am playing Majesty and Ignis, which are both level 5, meaning that it can make Volcasaurus, Shark Fortress, and Doom Chimera Dragon. Now for the extra deck, I'm playing 1 Adamante, 3 Mithrilium, of course. It's actually crazy. You need 20 defense to wear Mithril armor in RuneScape, and 30 to wear Adamant, but Mithril is actually better than Adamante in Yu-Gi-Oh! So yeah, Mithrilium for the win. And then Odd Eyes Vortex Dragon, double Orichalc, Odd Eyes Meteor Burst Dragon, a card that you can summon off of the Absolute Dragon when it's sent to the graveyard. 1 Grampulse, 1 Volcasaurus, 1 Shark Fortress, 1 Doom Chimera, Absolute Imduck, and Amalgam. So I think every single card here is very self-explanatory. The way you summon Vortex is not like by actually fusion summoning, but rather by sending the Absolute Dragon to the graveyard when it leaves the field, or when it's sent to the graveyard. So you can actually Xyz summon it using 2 Volflame, or Volflame and Melcaster, whatever. And then the 2 Orichalc card. Literally, this card is overpowered. It's a Chaos Max for every single monster you control, every single Metal Foes. They all deal double piercing. And when it's sent from the field to the graveyard, you get to destroy a card on the field. Ridiculously overpowered, and it's super easy to make. Just 2 Metal Foes monsters, that's it, that's all. And then, of course, Odd Eyes Meteor Burst. Grampulse is like an MST, but not a quick effect, using 2 level 3 monsters. Volcasaurus destroys a monster upon controls and then deal damage equal to its attack, but you won't be able to attack with the Volcasaurus, so that kind of sucks. Shark Fortress allows you to attack twice with one monster, but it's a little hard to set up. And then the Doom Chimera, I actually forgot what it does, but who cares? I remember that it was like okay, not broken. I mean, I would have liked to play Link Spider because at least it points down and I can special summon it, but it's not the end of the world. I mean, whatever. It still has an effect that is so like when it attacks, basically if it's like in the same column, if it points to, it would immediately die at the start of the damage step. And then Amalgam, Absolute Ass Cheeks, this card will probably never come up, but to be fair, this is, you know, at the end of the day, Metal Foes in normal rare festival, so we never know. Anyways, that's pretty much it for this deck profile. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, and let me know also what you plan on playing. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys very soon. Peace.